Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crompton, host of Invent America and also known as the Inventor Lady. Today, we've got Michael Miller with us, and we were talking about on the recording last week about how an inventor can pick the best trade show. There is a trade show for everything. So, Michael, thank you for being with us today. And how does an inventor really look at the different trade shows and pick a good one for them?
Absolutely. And thank you once again for having me on, Rita. I much appreciate that. The thing that you need to understand about trade shows is it's really about who's there, how many people are going to be there, how large is it. That's really key, I think, for picking the correct trade show, and also is it the correct one for your product. And so if you're doing lawn and garden product, if you're doing a hardware product, you would look at things like the National Hardware Show, or if you're doing a golf product, there's a golf show. If you're doing, a product that might have to do with firearms or anything like that, well, there's a whole SHOT Show for that. So literally there is a different show for every different type of product. And in many cases, they all overlap each other a little bit as well. And so I think, what you should do is do your research. Every one of these trade shows have got YouTube videos, they've got websites, all of that, and go and research and who's attending, what are the companies, and are those, targeted companies that you want to go and look at to possibly license your product to, or would retailers be attending that show that would see you if you attended, and especially if you had a booth there? You never know who's going to stop by.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I'll tell inventors is like, make sure it's a professional show, not a consumer show.
Yeah.
You go to the professional show, you can talk to the store owners, the buyers, they're representing thousands of consumers. You go to one that's open to the consumer and you're talking to one and two consumers. And then for a lot of our inventors, they're going with sexy prototypes, but they don't have inventory. When you go to the consumer shows, they expect you to have inventory and they want to buy one right there. So when you're going to then the professional show, you're right, you get to meet all kinds of different people. And the one thing I always also tell them is that, make sure you get a booth. If you go as an attendee, you are really limited on what you can say and talk about.
Yes, they do have, just so everyone's aware, every one of the trade shows have what they call like a suitcase policy, meaning you can't bring your prototypes with you and have it in your suitcase that you're at the trade show and go and start showing it to people at all the different booths or even people that are attending. That's not allowed at any of the trade shows.
They will escort you out and blackball you from attending again. So
they will, and they are, there's no bones about it. You will not be attending that trade show again. They're very, very strict on that. So, and honestly, just do the right thing. Get the darn booth. Get there so you can start showing your product to people, and get the feedback. And it's just a great way to learn what are your options. And honestly, they're not that expensive either.
Well, in the scheme of things, no, they're not. They're cheaper than doing a crowdfunding campaign.
Yes.
Cheaper than hiring a marketing team. They are cheaper than doing pay-per-clicks on Google. So and now you get the eye-to-eye contact. So you're talking to people. You can ask them a variety of questions. You can see what their suggestions are. A lot of times, our inventors will go and they will, be able to get information about price points and information about packaging. Different types of chains require different types of packaging. We had a gentleman that did a product, he had 25,000 cardboard containers made, and buyers wanted the product, but not in that container. His wife was not happy with him because all those things did was sit in the basement and collect dust. So, going ahead of time is a good thing for our inventors that go with us to the National Hardware Show. We're pooling our resources. So a lot of those new inventors can go and they can learn a lot at the show. They learn about how to present. They learn about the different types of show furniture. It's a whole industry unto itself. Is what kind of furniture do you want in your booth? They'll go around and I'll say, we do not have chairs in our booth. You do not get to sit down in our booth. Go someplace else to sit down and have lunch. And then when they start walking around and they see there is For when someone is just sitting in the booth, they have no business. Nobody is walking up. For us, you know, we coach them and say, all right, you're going to stand right here and you're going to talk to everybody that walks by.
Yep.
But you learn then when you're part of the group and the group teaches you and the group's got your back. When you go by yourself, you are literally on your own.
It is. And I think the other thing that I've seen from a lot of people over the years is they're attending the trade show. Of course, many of these are in Orlando, they're in Chicago, they're especially in the Vegas trade shows. And they're planning on having a good time and also attending the trade show. If you're doing that, you're not going to get anything out of that trade show.
As I say, oh, do you like to go gambling? I said, my gamble is in the convention center and I work like crazy there. And no, we don't go out. Bless you. It's like, you know, it used to be that if I couldn't find, bless you, a restaurant to take the team to after dinner, and if the restaurant wasn't between the booth and my bed, we didn't stop and eat. And my husband said that was not, you know, that did not work well for him. But
Yeah.
you know, it's tough.
Oh, shoot. Excuse me.
Bless you again. So it is tough when you're there and you realize that, you know, it's hard work. We are there. I mean, in our booth, we are there literally from 8 in the morning until 5. And then we go to whatever outdoor activity they've got. And, you know, if you're thinking, oh, we're going to a show tonight, or we're going, you know, out to dinner into one of the casinos, it's like, you kind of got the wrong reason why you're there.
Yep. Oh, man. I'm so sorry, Rita.
That's okay. Entertainment, yes. So, but anyway, I've been to the National Asphalt Show, so there literally is a show for everything. It wasn't very big, but it was very productive. So when inventors are looking for the right show, there's not a central database that lists all the shows.
No, there is not. And you really just have to do the Google searches and
I was
and even talk to the retailers. If you
Yeah.
go to an Ace, you go to your Home Depot, you go to your Petco, PetSmart, talk to the managers there. They'll tell you the trade shows that that their companies attend.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say, is that, you know, if you go to, you know, your doctor and say, okay, who is the one who provides you with these samples? And a lot of times they'll give you the name and say, what trade show, Mr. Sample Man, do you go to, or does your company go to it? They'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep, absolutely.
Few phone calls, you get really good information, and you go to a professional trade show.
Yes. Yep.
So.
And I think too, you know, the big thing about trade shows when you do attend is it's all about time management.
Yes.
If you look at it, you literally only have 60 minutes per hour. If you're talking to one person for 10 minutes, that means literally you can only talk to 6 people per hour. And so you need to be thinking that. You need to have a clock in the back of your head the whole time you're there and go, look, I'm going to really limit, unless it's somebody who's the CEO of, you know, some big company out there, I'm going to limit my conversations to 1 to 2 minutes, really see if this is someone who can help me along in my process. And if not, I'll graciously move to the next person.
Right. And I always tell inventors, don't go by yourself. You cannot work the booth and work the floor. And being able to get out and walk the aisles and seeing who else is there, you learn a lot, and you get to talk to a lot of people that may not have come by your booth.
That's right.
So
That's
don't
right.
go alone. Make sure you get a booth. You've got the exhibitor badge. That's the badge you want. You want help. And you go and you manage the time. You're there before they open, because it's amazing how many people are standing around in the morning having their cup of coffee, and you can visit with them when you walk by.
Absolutely, in the mornings and in the afternoons.
Yep.
It's always a great time to go and talk to folks, and also never leave the show early. The last day of the show usually is the least busy day of any show. Plan on working that entire day.
Yep.
And don't plan on leaving early.
No, it's when we go, because we've got a team. You know, I take staff with me, and we've got all the inventors. They frequently have, because I tell them, it's like, don't come alone. And I'm getting badges. I think this last year I got 70 badges. So we generally have a pretty good team there. And so that sometimes the team will start taking things down. They'll get things organized. Well, the rest of us are working, and there's times when, we've got nothing left in the booth and somebody's coming by and wanting to talk to us about a product. And it's like, we're standing right here. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. And I know, a number of different inventors, even the ones that were at the show this last year at the hardware show, who have emailed me after and go, who was that person that you introduced me to? And it's like, oh my gosh, you have to write all of these things down, and don't rely. A lot of the shows have these badge scanners and things that I don't know. I have not seen a show where those work very well. And usually there's always some kind of technical difficulty with them. And really, you have to have note paper and keep notes and a stapler to staple people's business card to each page. And I mean, it's very old school.
It's
that
amazing
you have to do.
People don't even bring their own business card because they don't want to be giving them out all over the place.
That's right.
Name, you've got to write it down. You're right. Name, email. And
ask people, whenever everybody's wearing a badge, it's very easy just to take your cell phone and ask the person, do you mind if I take your picture? And now you got their picture with their badge and the information on it. It's very easy, very simple to do. And most people will allow you to do that. And now you've recorded it. And now when you have these hundreds of leads that you need to look through, you can put a face to a name, and it really works out well.
It does. And, you've got to gather the information. You cannot wait for someone else to call you.
Yeah.
Because they won't. They're busy. And so every inventor, I told them, it's like, it's your responsibility to get the information you want.
Yeah. I mean, in my previous job, and even still to this day, I mean, literally, I would have 10 people submitting new inventions every single day. Then after a trade show, that number just goes up exponentially over the few weeks after. And so there'd be many days I would receive 20 and 30, even more new products to look at. You need to contact these folks. And a lot of people didn't follow up with me and didn't contact me. And, you really need to do that.
You do. It's a lot of work. I mean, there's work before, there's work after.
Yep.
And it is a professional trade show is still the best use of your marketing dollars.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Michael, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.